Also, I want to say hello to everybody, and I want to thank you very much for being here today. The most valuable time and thing that you can do is to invest in yourself. There's nothing else that's going to give you a better return on investment than investing in yourself. And I'm well aware that there's other things you could be doing today, but you decided to show up here today and learn something and invest in your future. So that tells me a lot about you right off the bat. And I really mean that. So thank you very much. So what we're going to talk about today is the half dozen things that make all the difference, or at least 95% of the difference in network marketing. And I would suggest that you take note here, because I'm going to make you a promise. If you learn these things, and they're quite simple, actually, very sophisticated, but actually quite simple. It's kind of a counterintuitive thing, if you know what I'm saying. It's like, but if you learn them and you apply them, you cannot fail in network marketing. It's impossible to fail, okay, if you don't quit. All right, we'll talk a little bit about that too. That's obvious, but unfortunately, it's 80% of the people have like PhDs in quitting things. And so I'm going to try to teach you how to find the individuals who who stick with what they have dreams, they have big visions, and if you bring them in properly, they'll stick around. And if you apply these half dozen things that make 95% of the difference, again, you cannot fail. That's my promise to you, and we'll help you do it. Okay, so anyway, that's that. I'm going to go over the first three things, which most of you here know. All right, and then I'm going to go over the second three things. All right, and then after I go over them, we'll expand on that a little bit and sort of tie it together and put a little bow on top of it. Okay, all right. And literally, when I say 95% of things, I really believe that if Don and I fell off the face of the earth today, and you never saw us again, if you take the things that I'm going to teach you right here today, I mean, you're gonna succeed in creating anything you want in your network marketing business. You wouldn't even really need us, because they are very, very known out there. He was one of my favorite philosophers and motivators in the past. He said these things are easy to do, but they're easy not to do, right? It's like, what did he say? Eating an apple a day? What if it does keep the doctor away, right? Did you eat your apple today? Maybe it's a peach. I don't know, but whatever. It's like, it's these simple things that are easy to do, but easy not to do. And they make all the difference. So having said that, the first thing that I want to say, I guess, other than the introduction there, is that there's probably 1 in 50,000 people, all right, that are in network marketing. I don't just mean on earth, ones that are in network marketing, trying to build a network marketing organization that really understand what you're going to learn here today. All right, 1 in 50,000. That's why Don, talks about 100% of the people not in it don't understand it. 90% of the people in network marketing don't understand it, right? He's actually being very conservative when he says that. He's being very nice. It's actually like 99% of the people in it don't understand it. And I'm not being mean. That's just the way it is. Most people think this business is about selling products and services, and it's not. I mean, ultimately, products and services have to move. But if you do the business right, products and services will move in the process of building a pipeline, okay, which we'll talk a little bit about that. And if you try to sell them up front, products, services, whatever, you alienate 95% of the people on earth, because Don said it a million times, I've said it a million times, 95% of the people want nothing to do with traditional sales. They don't like rejection. They don't think they can do it. Their friends or a couple of friends or relatives or whatever say, boo, and they're out, they're gone. They're not cut out for it. That doesn't mean they're not great people. Like, that's most people. So you don't we don't want to alienate 95% of the people out there, right? We want to bring them in and show them something that they can do. And the things that we're going to teach here today, anybody can do. Literally, an 8-year-old could teach another 8-year-old this stuff with a little bit of practice, okay? So anyway, let's talk about the first 3 things. The first 3 things, very simple. It's understanding the steps to the Own Your Life system, okay? So what are those steps? You know, I mean, we talk all the time. We can teach people how to start sponsoring and building a business from day one in less than 5 or 10 minutes, because all that we teach is, or all that we do is we talk to people about what they want, right? Or if you're shy, you know, a lot of people are shy and you don't want to talk, that's fine. Just let them read the back of your lifestyle card. Takes them 30 seconds to read it. Someone reads that. They either have desire to want to own their life or learn a little bit more, or they don't. And either way is fine. Like, we're not trying to convince people, you know, to go out there and, you know, own their life, or, you know, get into an organization if you happen to be involved in a nutritional company. We're not trying to convince them to get healthy or what. I mean, people need to want this stuff on their own. And if they don't, you're not talking with the right person, at least now, right? I mean, people can change. I mean, and they do change. And it's very important that you realize that they change. But if you're waiting around for them to change, right, you might be waiting an awfully long time. Okay, so we want to find out right off the bat, save their time, save your time if they want something. So that's one of the 6, the half dozen things right there. And it's the most important, because if they don't want anything, you might as well not go any further, right? All right, so the second thing is, you know, if they want something, they have to understand the business. I mean, we're in the business of network marketing, right? So if you were in the business of doing surgery or building bridges, or you were a veterinarian, you'd have to learn how to do those things. Well, and you learn them up front before you get paid, right? Like, veterinarians don't start getting paid before they become a vet. All right, excuse me 1 second.
I'm reminding you.
Alexa, stop. Sorry, guys. That's another talk we can have, is on setting alarms to keep you straight. Alexa, stop. Anyway,
15 minutes to go.
Got it. So you want to make sure that they understand network marketing. That's very simple. You have them go through the first 5 chapters of Don's Own Your Life book. We call that learning how to drive, right? And then so that's the second of the 6 things now. Okay. So if you don't know how to drive, you know, or if you know how to drive, you've gone through the first 5 chapters, then you actually need a vehicle to drive, right? Car, truck, motorcycle, whatever. Okay, we all have different vehicles, different companies. It doesn't matter what company you're in. All right. I mean, it does matter. You should be in a company that's going to be around for a long time, that the owners, you know, didn't start it up to make a jillion in a jiffy. They're in it for the long term. They're in it for, that's a whole nother topic though. Okay. So assuming that you're in a solid company that's going to be around for a long time, the third step of the 6 most important things is what? Send them some information about your company. And the information that you send them, I mean, people ask me, well, what do you send them? It depends. If if you're in a nutritional company, for example, and you know that the person that you're dealing with here has maybe high blood pressure or is on statin drugs or something, maybe it's more important to send him some information on that particular product that might help him than it is to send him an overview of the company, right? Doesn't that make sense? Because that's what he would be, you know, he has desire, or she, they know how to drive, and now they have this problem, and we have a product that solves that problem. Or, you know, whatever. You have to think a little bit right there, but it's very simple. Just think of the person that you're dealing with and send them whatever you think is appropriate. That's all. It might, you know, it could be your website, there's a little video. It could be a presentation by a leader in your company, or the owner of your company, or whatever. I mean, and if you have questions, if you don't know what to send, if you're new, either contact us, or, you know, tell us your situation. We'll help you, or go to your upline, someone that knows what they're doing, and say, hey, here's this person. What do you think I ought to send them on that third step? All right. Typically, though, what I do is I just send them my company website, and I say, hey, check it out as much or as little as you want. And then if you're interested in learning more, get back to me. That's it. Very low key. So what do we have now with the first 3 steps? We're halfway done with the 95% of the things that make all the difference. Isn't that refreshing? We have someone, they want something, they understand network marketing, know how to drive, and now they've seen your company. And then after that, you just follow up with them and take care of any questions that they have, or better yet, use your upline, someone who knows what they're doing, to take care of any questions that they have. Maybe you do a 3-way call there. Maybe you do a Zoom call. And when I introduce my upline, I still do this with my upline. I mean, even though I could answer probably most of the questions that they have, there's something about doing a 3-way call that lets that other person know, wow, you can get a lot of help here. This is really neat. I don't have to know everything. So if I'm doing a call with my upline, I'll introduce them like I teach you guys and gals to introduce them. This is my friend, Joe or whoever. He's been very successful in network marketing for the past 5 years, 10 years, 20, whatever it is. And he's going to take care of any questions that you have. And I get to listen. And that's how I learn. Now, think about that, folks. Now, and if you're doing any more than letting people read a card, sending them some information, the first 5 chapters, and then sending them some additional information, 3rd step about your company, you're doing too much. You're talking too much, because the more you talk, the more these people think they can't do what you're doing. And the more they think they don't have time to do what you're doing. And time is the #1 excuse that people are going to use not to join you. So before you get involved, or before that person gets involved in your business, please keep the time that you spend with them to a minimum, or you are walking on thin ice. Because what they're going to think is like, hey, if I have to do all this stuff, I don't have time to do it. And you don't want them thinking that, right? Really, it's really true. The less you talk before they join the business, the higher the probability is that they get in and actually go to work, etc. Okay, so, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn. It's a hard lesson because there's a lot of salespeople in network marketing, and they love to talk. You've got to teach yourself not to talk in the beginning. Bite your tongue. Get some scars on those tongues, all right, and it'll work. So, so that's that. That's half of the 6 things that make 95% of all the difference. Okay, but within, and that's very simple, right? It's let's do it in 5 seconds. What we just taught. We do this, we do that, and then we send them some company information. That right there is 95% of the business, folks. But within those 3 things, okay, there's some skill sets. There's some things that you have to learn, and do it in the right order in order to kind of make it work. And that's with the updating of the book that I'm doing right now, those are the things that I'm going to be, putting into the book that kind of dot the I's and cross the T's, so that when you said, geez, the card, the book, and something's missing. Because I remember in the beginning, 30 years ago almost, or whatever, when I first learned of Don's system, I loved it. I was like, man, simplicity, this is great. I can see why this works. But as I started implementing it, I realized there were a few pieces to the puzzle that were missing. I just couldn't tie it all together. Later I found out that they were just really simple little things. But again, going back to the Jim Rohn thing, right? And you can learn them really easy, but they're very, very sophisticated, but they're very simple to do. But you have to have someone teach you them, because you don't want to have to figure them out yourself. And once you dial these 3 things in that I'm going to talk about next, you can do anything you want in network marketing. Literally, you can go anywhere you want, as long as you stay the course and you don't quit. Because the bottom line is you should not ever have to persuade someone to join our business. I mean, there's so many people out there that want to own their life, time, money, and health at a time in their life they can enjoy it with the people that they love. They're everywhere, and they don't have a clue. 99% of them, how to achieve their goals. So what do? they just kind of fade into the sunset and stay in their jobs, and they're lovely. A lot of them are lovely, beautiful people, and we can come to the rescue here for them. And we will invite them to the call and, plug them into this stuff, and they'll learn this stuff. It's all recorded. And I've made a video on this in detail. It's about an hour and a half long. So I'm not going to get like in the next 3 things, it's going to take me 10 minutes. Okay. So I could spend an hour and a half on the next 3 things, but there's already a video made, and I'm probably going to do another one that is shorter and more compact and more precise. And that will go, and when the app is done, that will go in the app, and you'll have all this stuff right here. And think about that as you build your business, to just be able to hand this stuff to people. It's the biggest, most incredible gift you could give to people who want a better life, who want to own their life. So what are the other three things? Okay, here's what they are. Number one, they're selecting the right people to introduce your business to. Okay, that's the first one. The second thing is, then when those people, you sponsor them, getting them started quickly and efficiently. Okay, and then the third thing is, once they're started, start working in depth, start working down line as soon as you can. Okay, so let's go over it real quick again. Picking the right people, getting them started, quickly and efficiently, and then working down the group. Folks, those are the 6 things. You master them, and you got it. You wrote your ticket in network marketing. Then you just got to stick with it. Okay. All right. Now let's get into a little bit of detail about picking the right people. Again, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, just a little. Okay. How much time do we got here? 6 minutes. Okay. All right. First of all, right, and this is going to be common sense to you, but as they say, that's not that common these days, right? And plus, I didn't know this stuff in the beginning either. I was just like anybody else, like, I read articles on network marketing, and all the articles were talking about selling and getting salespeople to sell for you. And you'd think they know what they were talking about, right? They were articles that were in like prestigious magazines. Let me tell you, folks, remember what I said in the beginning? 1 out of 50,000 people who are in network marketing know what I'm teaching you right now. And that includes the people that write the articles. And it also includes a lot of the people that supposedly are making the big money. Even most of them don't even understand really what they're doing. They just throw enough mud against the wall, and they're action people, and they're just grinding it out day in and day. And they happen to hit 1 or 2 potential superstars, and they make all their money right there. But the probability of doing that for someone like that, like someone who's working like, or for someone like, like us, is practically 0. There's a lot of reasons for that. Like, even if you throw enough mud against the wall, if you hit someone who's really sharp, a lot of them won't even join your company. They'll just go, hey, thanks for the information, and they'll go somewhere else. So you can still work your brains out, and still come up short. And that's what happens to most people in network marketing. But when you do it the way we teach you to do, you never come up short. I mean, you have to succeed, because it's exactly what people want. And if people were telling you, here's what I want, and you go like, here you go, here's how you get it, and it's something that like an 8-year-old can teach another 8-year-old, then you're going to have people doing it. And that's what you're learning here today. Okay. All right. So here's what you're looking for. You're looking for people with a track record of whatever they do, they did it well. It makes no difference if they're in network marketing. As a matter of fact, I'd rather sponsor someone who was never in network marketing. They don't have any bad habits. You teach them the 3 steps, they go, oh, I guess that's the way it's done. They're not like going, yeah, but Joe over here, who supposedly was making 30,000 a month, he said that's not right. You don't have all that garbage with people that are not in network marketing. Okay. So I'm not saying don't talk to people who are in network marketing. I'm just saying sometimes they come with a lot of bad habits. All right. So track record, whatever they did, missionary, veterinarian, plumber, janitor, I don't care. If they were great at it, that's a great start, because people are very predictable creatures. They tend to repeat themselves over and over again. Look at your family and friends. Look at them 30 years ago. Are they like pretty much the same as they were before? Yep, they are. Okay. That's because that's a universal principle. Now, can people change? Of course. Of course they can. I mean, that's what makes us different than like what, cows and pigs and stuff, like they pretty much do the same thing every day, right? Eat grass, get milk, but we have free will. But the reality of it is that most people don't really use their free will. Like, people think, I was one of them like years ago, setting their alarm clock at night, is thinking. Like, that's not thinking. I mean, that's just rote, it's like, so, so anyway, people, if they were good at something before, if they're a good missionary or whatever, if the timing is right in their life and you teach them what we teach, the probability is very good that they'll do great in network marketing as well, because that's what they do. They're workers. I'll get into that in a second. Okay. The other attributes: warm, open, and easy to talk to. There are people who can build network marketing businesses who are kind of nasty people. I've actually had them in my downline in the past, but life's way too short. There's always an issue you got to overcome. To me, it's not worth it. Okay. Warm, open, easy to talk to. All right. The next thing is reliable. I mean, if people aren't reliable, they're going to drive you up a wall emotionally. It's not worth it. If people, and I don't mean for the first week, I mean like consistently reliable. They say they're going to do something. They say they're going to send something. They say they're going to show up at a certain time. They show up. People like that do great in network marketing, okay? Or in anything. People with credibility and influence with their peers. I mean, if people know you, like you, and trust you, it's very simple for you to ask them to take a look at something, right? Right? It's easy for them to hey, read the card, go through the first 5 chapters. They know you, like you, and trust you. The chances of them of you being able to do well are very, very good. Okay. See, this is a finding the right kind of people business. And if you aren't like that, I didn't have all these attributes in the beginning. Okay. I still probably don't have all these attributes. I mean, there's no perfect people. It's just a model, right? This is a model that you're looking for. All right. The next thing is, people with a good work ethic. You know who they are. If you're moving out of your house and you call 10 of your friends, like 4 of them don't show at all, and the 6 that show up, there's probably 2 of them that do all the work. The other 4 are drinking coffee and eating your food that you have on the table, right? Isn't that kind of the way it is? It's just kind of the way it is. Look at people who run like church bazaars and stuff. You got your pastor, he's the leader who sets it up. And every year, like at our church bazaar, the same people set it up. They work all weekend for no money. They tear it down. They show, it's like the same people. Like, those are the people that you're looking for, right? You're looking for a few, 3 to 5 leaders, and you're working for a whole lot of workers. Now, workers and leaders are different. I don't have time to get into that today, but about 90% of the population, there's about maybe 1 or 2% leaders and about 10% workers. And the rest of the people, I had a mentor of mine, he used to say that he called them carriers. Like, they were people that, like, they carried the flu bug. They never got the flu. They just carried the flu bug and they gave it to everybody else. I always thought that was kind of funny, but so you're really working with about 10-20% of the population here if you want to build a network marketing company that succeeds. Okay. All right. And so that's that. And in network marketing, we're going to go a little overboard into 30 minutes, but this is more important than the Q&A. Okay. All right. So and I'll spend some extra time on the Q&A with you if you want. All right. But in network marketing, what you're trying to do. Oh, and people who are industrious, actually people who get things done. They don't use, they don't have a PhD in excuses. If they need to go under the wall or over the wall or around the wall or whatever, they do it as long as they do it with integrity. That kind of, they're moral people. They're good human beings. These are people that get things done. You don't got to motivate them all the time. They're inner motivated. They're industrious. You take those things and you put them together, and if the timing is right, all right, you have 3 to 5 of those people that you personally sponsor, and then you help them find, maybe 5 other ones in each of their groups. You have like 25 key people like that. Your ticket is wrote in network marketing. Okay, you're going to make, in 2 to 5 years, you won't be able to spend the money. It'll take on a life of its own, because those people are the kind of people that they just, hey, thanks for your help. I love you. I'm there for you, but they're out there working. You don't have time to motivate people in this business. I mean, I don't even have time to motivate myself, let alone motivating other people. You find the people with these key characteristics by asking the right questions. Okay. And what you're trying to do in network marketing is you're trying to build a pipeline, okay, that things flow through, products and services of your company. I mean, you can put, you can put anything through a pipeline. You can put champagne through a pipeline. You can put mud through a pipeline. You can put oil through a pipeline. Your company's products and services through the pipeline. Okay. Walmart and Amazon probably have the biggest pipelines out there, right? Lots of people buying from them. I mean, you want to get, if you made a DVD and you put it in Walmart, you're going to sell probably more DVDs or at Amazon than any place else because they have a huge pipeline. And I want you to write this down because what I'm going to say right here is hugely important to you. Okay. The diameter of your pipeline, in other words, how big it is or how small it is, all right, is the mentality of your key people. Okay, let me say that again. The diameter of your pipeline that you build for your organization is the mentality of your key people. In other words, the people that I just talked about, track record, reliable, warm, open, easy to talk to, credibility and influence, industrious, good work ethic, okay? Those people can build big pipelines. Why? They tend to run with people just like them. They're friends. I mean, criminals tend to hang out with criminals. Smokers, my mom and dad both smoked growing up. Most of their friends smoked. I'm not, whatever, that's just the way it was. People run with people like them. Winners run with winners. Complainers kind of hang out with complainers. Whiners hang out with whiners. Winners win. That's just kind of the way it is. So if you find those people, you have this big pipeline. They're bigger thinkers. They're actually easier if the timing is right and you approach them right to get into your business. Once they're in your business, they use more products. They have a much less likely time, or they're much less likely to quit because they're not the kind of people that quit, right? The people they run with are just like them. So when they sponsor other people, like with your help, those people are just like that. So you find, 25 key people like that in your organization, and it's going to take on a life of its own. These people are doers. They have big dreams. A lot of them have big visions. When a few people say, hey, thanks, but no thanks, they don't just like quit. They go like, okay. And they just go to someone else and introduce their business to them who has these characteristics, right? And they learn, like they hear this kind of stuff right here, and they start asking questions to find these kinds of people. What kind of questions are they? Well, there's a lot of them. I'll give you one of them. Who do you know out there who is doing well right now, maybe financially in life, who is laying in bed at night, staying awake, trying to figure out ways to do better, to double what they're making right now? Who do you know who's taking some college courses and working 2 jobs? Those people have initiative, right? I mean, and most people won't approach those kinds of people because why? They think they're what? They think they're too busy, right? Let me tell you, they're the easiest people in the world if you approach them right, because they have initiative. That's why they're taking college courses and working 2 jobs or already successful, because they do things, not always the right things, but sometimes they're the right things, but they're action people. If you know how to approach them, all right, you write your ticket in network marketing, even if they don't get involved in your business now, because then you just have to stay in touch with them. Because like every 2.5, 3 years, people have something major, psychologists say this, something major happens to them. They get married, they get divorced, they start a business, they lose a business, they have a child, or they become a grandparent, or they retire, or whatever. A big thing happens. And if they're the right people and you stay in touch in the appropriate way, you don't bug them, you don't pester them, none of that kind of stuff. You just stay in touch. When the timing is right, guess what? The probability of them getting into your business is great. But most people, because they quit, they never even get to that stage where they follow up with those kinds of people. And that's your ticket, folks. Like, it doesn't even matter who you sponsor in the beginning, if you understand what I'm telling you now. Because if you're looking for the right people and you stay in touch, believe me, there's no way you're not going to find 3, 4, 5 key people who want to own their life, who know people just like them that you can start working with and build whatever you want. It'll happen automatically almost. Okay. All right. So So that's that. The diameter of your pipeline is the mentality of your key people. Okay. You want to make a lot of money in network marketing, you find the right people. I wasn't the right people when I first started. It was 10 years until I was, yeah, I had initiative and all that kind of stuff, right? I was a hard worker, but I wasn't coachable. Like you would have been telling me this, I would have went out and did it my own way. There's a lot of reasons for that, but that was the reality of it. But once I banged my head against the wall about 100 times and had a migraine headache that I couldn't get rid of, I was like ready to learn. And I happened to run into, have a mentor that I knew about Don's system at this time, and I did use it. I didn't use it exactly like he taught it though. When I ran into this other guy, he taught me I should use it exactly like Don. And when I did that, that's when things really exploded. So, so then picking those right people, getting them started quickly and efficiently, because people with those characteristics, folks, they tend to be impatient. You know, they want to get some wins in the win column, some points in the scoreboard. All right. And if you don't know what to do, you know, you probably have 2 to 3 weeks to help them sponsor their first person, or they might lose confidence in you. Now, you do have some leeway if it's your best friend, right? I mean, they're your best friend or your sister or your brother. Maybe they'll give you a month or 2. But even them, there's a window of opportunity here. So you have to work with them quick and help them succeed. All right. And we do that. I'm not going to get into details here, but I do that by if I sponsored any of you on here or whatever, I'd send you a homework assignment. I'd have you fill it out. I'm looking for the 10 people that you know that is close to possible fit those attributes that I just ran over with you. You know, I want to take the 1,000 people that you know in this world and narrow it down to 10, okay, that have those characteristics. And then you fill this homework assignment out. You tell me a little bit about these people. Then we jump on the phone. We do what's called a strategy session, okay? And the first question I asked you is, of the 10 people that you sent, well, besides thank you for doing it, okay, is of the 10 people, who do you have a relationship with? Like, of those 10, of the sharpest people that you know, there's 2 criteria that's most important who I want to go to first. And it might not be the top person on the list. For example, if the top person on the list, you know that they would be unbelievable in this business, but their mom is in the hospital dying of cancer. Okay, I'm not going to go there. I mean, don't you think it's probably a priority, taking care of their mom? I mean, they're focused on that. So then I'll go to maybe the second best and find out what's going on in their life. What's your relationship like? You know, is it a strong relationship? And what's going on in their life? We might have to go down to the 4th or 5th or 6th best person, in your opinion, on your list. And we might have to start there. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, because maybe your relationship's pretty solid with them, and you talked to them last week and they told you they were looking for something to do to earn income because of they had a great reason. The timing was right. Your relationship was good enough with them that you could probably get them to take a look at what you have. All right. We might have to start with the 5th or 6th or 7th best person. That's just the way it is. But why is that important? Because we want to get some wins in the win column and some points on the board for this person as soon as possible. And they're the most likely person that's going to join your team because of the relationship and the timing. Okay. Now, the rest of them, you tuck them away and you just stay in touch with them periodically. How you do that is an art in of itself. We're not going to talk about that today, but you never bug them and you hardly ever bring up the business. You just build the relationship with them. That's all. If you already have an existing relationship, you build it better. If you have just a kind of halfway relationship, you build it better, because this business really first and foremost is about relationships. Once you understand these 6 things that we're covering here, then if people know you, like you, and trust you, if you just stay in touch with them, you can't lose. Like, why would they not? Half of those people will ultimately get in your business if you stay in touch with them. Half of them. Think about that, folks. And you need 5 key people in most companies. Okay. There's some companies it's different. 3 to 5 key people. You help them find their 5 key people. You have 25 key people somewhere in your organization. You will write your ticket in network marketing. And I already explained why. Okay. So then the last thing, we craft a message. Like, for those 2 or 3 people of that list of 10, we'll craft a message for that person, so that they can almost not say no to you. Now, what do I mean by, what do most people do? Hey, would you like to take a look at a great business opportunity? Or You know, what do you do in your spare time? I got something going here. It's pretty cool. I mean, sometimes that might work, but let's just say you had I use this a lot, but I'll use it here because it makes sense. You have a stay-at-home mom. And by the way, all this stuff's going to be in the new book. Okay. This was never in the book before. So now you'll be able to go right to it, and you know, it'll really help dot those I's and cross the T's. But now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, crafting the approach. Say you had a wannabe stay-at-home mom that, you know, that good friend or good relationship, good timing. You know about this particular person. She has a couple of kids. In the next few years, they're going to be going to college. She wants to help them out financially. She doesn't have a lot of time, maybe 10 hours a week. If she did find something to do, she needs like $3,000 to $5,000 a month to be able to help her kids. She likes to go on the weekend trips with her kids, maybe camping or RVing, you know, that kind of thing. So the weekends are kind of like busy. It's very important for her to spend family time. She's not a salesperson at all. She never liked the idea of like having to go out there and like persuade and convince, you know. And well, let's just say you knew that you had a good relationship with a person like that, and you knew that. See, this is why it's so important to know the people. It's much more important to spend 98% of your time with the 2% of the right people. And one of those parts of the 2% of the right people is knowing them, or if you don't know them, getting to know them. Okay. Because then if you know what they want, I mean, what if your daughter or son needed delicate eye surgery, for example, okay? And there was 3 surgeons in the world that could do this surgery, and it cost $100,000 to get it done. And you had to get this surgery for your daughter within the next 2 weeks, or else she was going to go blind. Okay, that's a pretty bad predicament, isn't it? Well, what if you met me or Adriana or one of the other folks here on the group who knew this, one of the surgeons that did this operation. Maybe they were really close with them, right? And this surgeon, maybe they were backed up 6 months. You know what I mean? They couldn't even get to, you know, the average person couldn't even get their daughter to them because they have 6 months of surgeries to go, the waiting list. But because, let's just use me, because this person was one of my best friends, I knew him for a long period of time. We knew each other, we liked each other, we respected each other, blah, blah, blah. And I told you, you know, I said, Ed, Brenda, Doug, you know, whatever, hey, I can get your daughter to see this surgeon in the next couple of days. And he could probably, you know, he'll do the tests and stuff, and he can probably do the surgery within like the next 5-6 days. And you know, the $100,000 that he normally charges, well, I can, because he's my friend, he'll do it for you for $25,000. Now, do you think, like me saying that to you, if that was your daughter who was going to go blind in a week, that you'd go like, introduce me to the surgeon? Well, of course you would. Now, that's an exaggerated example, right? To make a point, you know. Let's go back to the stay-at-home mom. All right. You know that stuff about that stay-at-home mom, right? So what if we crafted a message that said something like, let's call her Mary. Mary, if you could see a way to generate, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 a month, because I know you need that to help your kids who are going to college in a couple of years, in a little part-time venture, working out of your home or anywhere you wanted to. Okay, picking your own hours, not working weekends if you don't want to, because I know you like to do camping and stuff like that with your family. And it was fun and family oriented. And there wasn't any like traditional selling in it, no convincing or persuading. And I'd help you do it. Would you be open to checking out some brief information? Okay. Now you have a relationship with this person, right? And you know that's what she wants. I mean, do you think, I'd say 95% probability, even closer than that she's going to say, yeah, you know, tell me, what are you talking about here? Send me some information. So can you see, when you're working with the right people, the right kinds of people, it's the right timing. You have a relationship with them and you know what they want. And then you craft a message for them that they almost can't say no to. Can you see how you can write your ticket here? If you do that and you teach that, okay, works every time, folks. It's like being in the casino, you know, most people are breaking their arm, pulling the lever, right? Looking for the 3 sevens to come up. You know, when you know these things, it's like you're at the casino, the slot machine doesn't have any windows in it. You just take your finger in there, you pull down the 7, and you come over here, you pull down the 7, come over here and you pull down the 7. Okay. It's a slam dunk if you know what you're doing. Right. And so that is that. And then working in depth, you know, when you just real quickly working in depth, when you got these great people with these characteristics system, like the Own Your Life system, and then you plug in those other 3 things, you know, like what I'm teaching right here on the back end, the last thing. And these are, let's just say these are all people, okay? Let's just say this is me. Adriana is one of those people, right? All right. These are lifestyle cards that are supposed to simulate people, okay? All right. And then I'm working with the right kind of person at the right time. She introduces me to these people, to this person who introduces me. We're all working together, the right kind of people, the right time, the right attributes. We're forming this bonded relationship. People are starting to make money. They're starting to understand, you know what, this really works. They have confidence in me. They have confidence in Adriana. They have confidence in Jim and Franz and Sater, because they're saying to themselves, these people know what they're doing. Do you think there's the most of these people are just going to like quit, like, oh yeah, they're not going to quit. They're going to stick around. And remember what Don teaches, you know, and for years, 40 plus years, he's been teaching this. The definition of duplication, okay, is when, this is me, I sponsor Adriana, and Adriana goes 3 levels deep, which makes me 4 levels deep with, and here's the dotting the I and crossing the T, the stuff that's going to be in the book that really wasn't emphasized, you know, in the early days. All right. With the right kinds of people, you know, I mean, you have, these aren't just the people that like, they're, you know, they get in and they quit everything. They have the PhD. These are the right kinds of people. Okay. And when you start working with those kinds of people, and as think about it, the further you go down, you have these people asking the right questions, bringing in these people with these skill sets and qualities. As you go down in depth, it gets easier and easier and easier, because these people, they're like, when you're down on your 10th level, if you're asking the right questions to get there, like hopefully they're more skilled and more successful than you are. And they run around with people like that. So once you start working in depth, all right, and it's, you said 5, 25, 125, you know, it starts getting big. You have so many people, so many quality people down there to work with. You literally could screw up all over the place. You know, I'm not recommending screwing up, but there's so many people down there. It's like when Adriana drops down on her 10th level to work with some person that's really kicking it down there, right? You know, it's not like when you're working with your best friend. You know, sometimes they treat you like crud. You know, they're your best friend. They can get away with it, right? It's like, you know, when you're down working on your 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 15th level, you'd think Adriana, like, it was queen. They're like, oh, Adriana's coming down to work with me. Oh my goodness, you know, they treat you like you're like a queen or a king, because, you know, they're so appreciative, because, you know, they never understood network marketing, right? They just got in, they have a big dream, they have the qualities, but they really probably don't understand it yet. Our job is to come down there, make sure they understand it. Because if they're the right kinds of people who understand what you guys understand right now, the 6 things that make 95% of the difference, once that person gets cooking and doing the right thing, remember, napkin presentation number 9 on motivation and attitude. They're working, the fire is coming up. The person on your 20th level is paying the person on your 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th, right? And the person on your 15th is paying the 14th, the 13th. So the deeper you're working, the better off you are. Not necessarily in the beginning, you know what I mean? Because maybe you have a 7-level pay plan. But ultimately, because of these sharp people down here kicking it up and really out there working, and these people up here, they don't want to lose the money coming to them. And they see what's going on down there. They don't want to get passed in rank. You know, if you're a diamond and this person down here becomes a double diamond, that diamond, okay, is going to lose a lot of money. So what you do is you go down to the diamond, you say, hey, 5 levels below you is this woman. Her name's Dawn. All right, Souza. And she is like kicking butt. And if you don't get your act in gear, you're going to end up losing a lot of money. And here's why. And then this person goes, wow, I guess I better get working. So you see, you don't got to like convince maybe these people that aren't working that hard. You just got to let them know that they're going to lose a lot of money if they don't do a few things. Get in there and help them. And then a lot of people, you can kickstart these people that aren't doing very much. Because remember, they're the right people in the first place. Okay. It's not like they're just anybody. You picked them. Industrious, credibility. You know, they just might not be working too hard for whatever reason. You know, we all go through that, right? Life is like a flow, you know, but this person's working hard. Let them know about it and say, hey, I can help you like not lose that money and make 3 times as much as you're making now in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Are you up to it? You want to do it? You bet. And then you go to work with that person and then it fires everybody else up. Okay. So that's really all I want to talk about right there. I know we went overboard, but it's more important that you understand those 6 key things. Let's do a quick summary. The first key thing is what? What's the first step? And anybody can answer here. What's the first step in the Own Your Life system? What? Anybody? Oh, I see there's chats here. Okay, we'll look at the chat then. Anybody, just go ahead and yell it out or chat it or whatever. Put it in your chat.
Talk to them about their life, about what they want in their life.
Yeah, well, ask them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just find out if they want something, right? Desire. Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, what's the second step? They want something, they got to know what. Anybody?
How to drive.
Yeah, they got to know how to drive. Yeah, they got to understand network marketing, right? That if you were getting heart surgery and your surgeon came in before your heart surgery and you looked up at him and you said, hey, doc, I was just curious, you know, where'd you go to heart surgery school? And she looked down at you and she said, I never made it to heart surgery school. There'd be a problem there, right? It wouldn't even matter if they were a general practitioner. Would you want a general practitioner doing open heart surgery on you? So they can even be really, really smart, but if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to kill you on the operating table, right? You gotta understand the business you're in first. So now you know that you got the desire, you understand network marketing. Excuse me.
I'm reminding you. Zoom call, Zoom call, Zoom call.
Alexa, stop. Sorry. Okay, so the third step is what? Anybody?
Show them your vehicle.
Show them your vehicle. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Carolyn. That's it. Those are the first 3 steps. Okay, the next 3, maybe some of you got them, some of you did it. Let's see. So they get into your business, right? All right. What's the fourth not most important thing, but of the 6, what's number 4?
People.
What? And yeah, and you should have already done that, right? The person that went through the 3 steps, you should have already, right, selected them from the very beginning. Okay. So, but selecting the right people, and then, you know, anybody know the attributes of the right people? This would be
reliable, credible, or with some sort of a authority. Good at something. They have a track record of success.
Excellent.
Positive, warm, nice people.
Very good. Industrious, you know, they get the job done, you know, like very good. Good job, Franz. You know, and then so you're selecting the right people and then getting them started quickly. The next one is getting started efficiently and effectively. And then what's the last thing? You got them in here. What's the last thing that we're doing?
Work the downline.
Working down group with sharp people, you know. And if this person down here is really kicking it up and these people were just kind of hanging, using a little bit of product, you should be down here working. And see, a lot of people don't understand this. It's a lot easier for me to work with Adriana, right? Because Adriana is my buddy. We're close. It's, you know, we know each other. It's like your best friends or whatever, lives down the street for you. You grew up with them. It's a lot easier to be working with them, and you should in the beginning helping, but it's much more advantageous for Adriana if I'm down here working with, you know, Dawn, for example, and helping her succeed because of what I said earlier. If she starts really, you know, doing well, everybody upline is affected in a positive way, including Adriana. So I'm still going to work with Adriana, but it's much more important for me from a business perspective and to help you, Adriana, that I'm down here digging for those good people and helping them succeed. Because remember, you find 25 key people. I don't care where, by the way, this is real important too. I don't care where they are in the organization. If they're on your, you don't want them all on your first level, but you got 5 on your first level. Let's just say you find 3 of them on your third of these kinds of people, and on your 5th, there's another 7, whatever. And by the time you get down to 15 levels, you have 25 key people in there that have all those characteristics. You are going to you wrote your ticket network marketing. There's no way that having an organization like that, I am level blind, because once you have an organization like that, trying to keep that organization from exploding in growth is like trying to put out a fire by sprinkling gasoline on it. You couldn't do it if you tried. Those people are workers, doers, action people. They're down there they're doing it. They'll ask for your help. They'll come back up and ask for your help when they need it. But if they don't need it, they're just down there working. And remember what we said about motivating people? Those are the people you're looking for. You don't need to motivate those people. You just need to make sure they understand network marketing and the unbelievable potential that this industry holds. Because most people don't have a clue. They think it's sales and you got to sign people up and you pray to God they're going to get. I mean, so that's that.